Hello everyone, welcome back to the lab and also welcome to a new episode of Road to World 2024 where I will be documenting my journey, my grind of me competing in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG and eventually or hopefully make to the World Championship of 2024. That being said, let's start today's new episode. So to be completely honest, I was not planning to record this week because Weiser's Raleigh is relatively soon, and my deck is pretty much finalized. And all I did was went to a regional, Hartford, Connecticut, in the past weekend. But I was gonna save the result of that with whatever can happen at Weiser's Raleigh to like maybe an episode recording post Raleigh, right? However, as everyone probably should know at this point, there was a BANLIST drop midday during the weekend. So now the format has reset again. Everything's completely new. Everything probably need to be theater crafted again to the point, well, I might as well record it thus since there's enough content. So that being said, let's jump into the deck first. What you see on the screen right now is my list, or was my list from Philadelphia Regional the weekend prior. My only loss during Philly was just a Runic Stun, who ended up being the first place. So I didn't feel like many things need to be changed. I did play a good amount of Fire Mirrors, or different versions of Fire's Mirrors, and I won all of them. I also didn't have that much issue against many of them, to the point I didn't feel like many things need to be changed. Main deck is nearly perfect ratio-wise, card choice-wise. Extra deck is also good. I've been using all 15 cards, to be honest. There's no single card in my extra deck was not participated in like multiple tournaments. And the side deck, there are some minor details. At Philly, I had a bet with my friends, so the Skull Guardian obviously was a meme and got cut. And there's the other card I wasn't satisfied was the Duster. Duster, in my eyes, is just the third copy of Lightning Storm. And truthfully speaking, even in situations where I do siding Lightning Storm, such as like going second in Mirror to out people's summon limit, I wasn't siding in Duster because I didn't have enough things to side out. Like mainly, I prefer to keep cross out and siding a copy of summon limit as an out to summon limit. So I didn't put in Duster at all. Lightning Storm in a situation where my opponent don't have their back rows like summon limit, I could still use it at their monster at the front, most likely an Appaloosa, honestly. But Duster just doesn't have that. So I didn't even put this in. And against Voice, yeah, I do put it in, but like it can be replaced by a lot of other cards in my opinion. Then against Stun, yes, its primary usage was against Stun, but I didn't feel particularly good with the card even against Stun. Lightning Storm is just something I think it's good enough against Mirror, so I was already playing it. But if my main opponent in my mind is Stun, Duster isn't even that good at it. Hugin really just blocks it, and that's pretty much it. So overall, I decided to cut this Duster for something I guess more. Now I have two spots in my side deck, something specifically for Stun. That will be the thing I was looking for. When I was siding for Mirror and even Voice, I've already sided in enough things. And also, I wasn't able to side out more things from my main. To the point, even if I devoted the last two spots for like Mirror, for example, running 2 more hand traps, I most likely won't be able to put those in. Thus, will resulting over siding technically. So that's why the last 2 spots, after looking through it, after doing some math, I can only use these 2 for very specific situation that used to be like time, so I sided Dogwood, but that also didn't happen often enough. So now it's probably only situation against like Stun or just Rogue, those kind of things. So it come to my mind, what were the best thing against anti-stun deck? Cosmic was one of the first thing coming to my mind. Wasn't feeling good about it. Cosmic has no purposes against like other decks. At this point, against pure Snake Eye, it's not even good because how the combo line has been evolving. People just bench the IP, summon it with Field Spell first. If I Cosmic there, they would just bring out with Flimber. So it's Cosmic isn't really doing anything. Fire King, number of Fire Kings has been drastically decreased by how the format was going, and even so, Fire King half of the time they're just playing pure Snake Eyes. So I look at all the possible options I have. I ended with finding him, the Golden Lord, the Owlich, the Golden Lord. So, fun story, there was a friend in our Chinese group, testing group, who has been playing Owlich Stun the entire format. He refused to buy Fire or Voice and just didn't like those decks. So he's been playing his fun Owlich Stun. However, simply, he's playing the inferior stun variant, so he hasn't really achieved anything in tournaments. But Owlich, as a deck, has been circulating in our minds in the Chinese testing group. So, the other day after Philly Regional, I was just looking at all my options, and a click happened in my mind. And what if we play Owlich? The Golden Lord, yeah, the Golden Lord himself, as something aside. Because people had quote-unquote tacked this into other decks before, right? Like, I remember in the beginning of Master Duel time where no one had a complete deck to craft, and I remember people just randomly throwing like Golden Lord into decks like Dragonling or Branded, and apparently it's doing okay as a card. It's outing some weird things that no other cards in the engine of those that will be able to do. So, what's the implication? What's the application of Golden Lord? Lord has two effects. First effect, sending a spell trap from hand to graveyard, is send a card on the field. This technically you can just treat Lord turn into another spell trap into a Cosmic Cyclone kind of feeling. Then Lord in the graveyard, I can send a spell trap from my field to graveyard, add Lord back to hand, and it's an optional to special summon a zombie, which most likely will be Lord himself. The zombie I summon will gain 1k attack and defense and cannot be destroyed by card effect for the rest of like 2 turns. That's pretty much a whole Lord effect. Fun fact: because all the Snake Eye cards are treated continuous spell when they are placed in the back row. So there are, despite not having many spell traps in the deck, there are a lot of spells on my field that can be sent by Lord to retrieve Lord back from the graveyard. And funny thing, because Poplar is a once per turn, return back to the back row and send to graveyard, Poplar plus Lord is a mini infinite loop to retrieve Lord. It's infinite cost technically. And even if like a Poplar falls in my opponent's turn, I'm most likely able to just get it back from different ways, right? Flimber, bench it, Field Spell, bench it, sing close enough. And with that kind of setup, now I have Lord, infinite cost to retrieve Lord back from the graveyard. Lord now in hand can turn every single spell trap, any random spell trap, into a once per turn Cosmic Cyclone in the right situation. And I think it's something I need for Runic Stun. Because against Runic Stun, you either want big bull wipes and pray they don't have answers to that, and using that 1 turn empty time to break into their board, perform the OTK, kill them. Or you ideally, if you can, want something, just keep annoying them, keep doing mini damage every single turn. Those would be like good cards against the stun. Cosmic, Cosmic first of all doesn't hit enough things, and also it's a one-time use. So you have to really save your Cosmic into a very crucial moment to really capitalize its effect. However, Lord is like, I can just send things one by one, and then until my opponent couldn't really come back to the point. I can just repeatedly undo it until I feel comfortable to OTK them. Suddenly, I'm now having, because this Golden Lure is in circulation, I'm in control of the game instead of my opponent. And yes, there is no way to access Lord from my deck by any means. I have to really raw draw it. But that's probably applied to the same thing for any other card I can play. Unlike the decks like Branded, which you can send it by Branded Fusion, Snake Eye don't really have anyway. However, if I play other things like Cosmic, or even Twin Twister, or just other random backer removal, those cards also had to be drawn. Even hypothetically, the Snake Eye engine can access to Golden Lure in some obscure way. The purpose of my opponent's stun deck is to prevent my engine operating. So even if I can, I probably won't be able to do it. Thus, still resulting in me having to draw Golden Lure by itself. So, not being able to access to the card is not as big an issue in this stun matchup, because stun also will have a lot more turns. And the second I draw it, it's a Cosmic every single turn. And my opponent shouldn't even have any outs to this. Like, the only way they can prevent Lord is having a border on the field, which is a lot easier to out. Or have a Muning preactively setting in the extra dead zone to prevent Lord, or just trade away Lord's effect one turn. That kind of move will risk them into any destruction because they cannot summon Muning anymore, because they cannot summon Huging anymore. Which is technically even more risky for them. So the stun opponent will most likely not risk doing that. That just results in Golden Lure have nearly no blind spot in this matchup. And I even found out some other funny application of the card. Lord plus Diabel. Have you ever in the situation where you already have like original access by other cards, things like Ash or Poplar, and your Diabel, all you can do is just set a Wanted that doesn't do anything this turn? Well, now here's Golden Lord. Golden Lord can just eat the Wanted from the field and get a Wanted to the graveyard. Summon Lord. Now Lord itself is a random link body, and also turn the Wanted into a draw this turn instead of next turn. So it suddenly has some good usage while I was testing it. And even if, hypothetically, there's another combo where I just Diabel, pitch Lord, summon, set original. That Lord eat the original, summon himself. Lord and Diabel into like a link to whatever, Dark, IP, SP, Phoenix, whatever I need to, based on game state. And now this original fall into graveyard without using its effect. So instead of using the on-field effect turn 1, I can just use the graveyard effect immediately, putting the Diabel back. And for getting like a monster like an Ash or the Poplar. And suddenly I have a normal summon Ash with after using like Diabel Pitch Lord. And this is like a very interesting way that proving Golden Lure is never even gonna stuck in my hand. I do end it sided in against like Voiceless, and I think during the Hartford Regional, I even played a Labyrinth Run one, and game 2 I sent a Skill Dream with him. So yeah, that's a cool implication for Golden Lord, and I was very ready to bring it to Oasis Raleigh. It didn't have its shine at Hartford because people at Hartford are just a lot more friendly. I did not face a single runic stun. Unlike Philly, there were a shit tons of them. Well, so let's talk more about the regional. There were about 240 people. We played 8 rounds. I ended with 7 win, 1 loss. My only loss was to Pac, who piloted a 60-card branded pile. Game 1, I won. Game 2, I stopped Pac's first turn combo, but he had double Super Poly as a backup. I was able to play into the first one completely fine. But he just flipped the second one afterwards, and I couldn't do anything about it. So that was game 2. Game 3, Game 3, Pac, he drew his perfect 8 cards Exodia hand. He also resolving card in Chimera in the middle, drew 2 more, so that was the perfect 8. His hand was Opening Tragedy, Thrust, Brenda Fusion Patchwork, Elbas Super Poly, LBM. Yes, it was broken. Like, my ending wasn't bad. It was good amount of Snake Eye things plus 3 hand trap. He walked through all of them and OTK'd me going second. I mean, if you draw that well in in Brenda, sure you can do that. Things like that, right? But that's fine. There's really nothing I could do differently to make me survive. So that was an okay loss. But my tiebreaker is a lot higher because the other opponents I played, most of them ended within top 32 getting their invite. That pumped up my tiebreaker quite well and resulting me second place after Swiss. So let me see. Overall, what I played. Round 1 played the Labyrinth, and I mentioned earlier, game 2, my Golden Lure sent a Skildrin out the floodgate and performed the OTK in the same turn. On round 1. Round 2, I believe, was a Snake Eye standard mirror match thing. I won because I have better ratios in my opinion. Round 3 was, I think, a branded, and that was the easier one compared to Pac. Round 4, I kind of forgot. I think round 4 is a cash Snake Eye. Game 1, I won because I hand trapped. My opponent started with Unicorn, I just ignored it. Then I hand trapped the Snake Eye portion, won easily. And game 2, my opponent played a completely cash tier attack because he didn't draw any Snake Eye. So I just slowly maneuvering around the Baron and Ferndier, and eventually got away. Won game 2. Round 5, I think, is a voiceless. What happened? Game 1, I won. Game 2, I kind of bricked. That was the only quote-unquote brick. I had a relatively mid-hand with only way to start is an original. But I have a lot of cards I can bait. I have Pank and Lightning Storm. So none of my opponent's things on the board was threatening to me. I was able to trade away with all of them. However, my opponent eventually had an Ash Blossom in hand, stopped my original, so I just don't have engine after that. So that was my... but game 3, I think I just go first, and then my opponent also just drew bad. I walk into one hand trap and be fine. Round 5. Round 6, I believe it's another... I think it's another Snake Eye. Don't remember too much about those mirrors. It just... There were some, but none of them were really threatening to me after I played it. I believe I dueled every single fire mirror during that day. Round 7 was Pac, like I just mentioned, so that's pretty much it. Round 8 was one of my other Chinese boys that we went to the tournament, so I just auto-win that. So yeah, that was the regional. I played a good amount of Snake Eye mirrors, and I 2-0'd the majority of them, so I feel very confident about my list, about moving into Weiss's Raleigh. However, during the middle of the tournament, something big dropped. There was a BANLIST. Obviously, I was surprised and not surprised to hear the list. We had the whole March with no new sets, no new cards, no BANLIST, no tournaments. We had the entire March dead, right? They could easily give out this BANLIST in March, and they didn't. So I was doing earlier that day at the regional, I was even talking to one of my friends saying, yeah, I don't think they will give us a list anymore because Raleigh's so soon, right? But they did. So, well, instead of me complaining too much about the list, let's start with some good thing about the list. What about that? The forbidden parts, Linkreeble, Baron, Savage, Summon Limit. Fantastic hits. Things a bit surprising to a lot of people. Not because they surprised to see these cards getting banned. They're surprising because This is not how Konami usually addressing cards, and people not used to this. That's the surprise part. But realistically speaking, the day Baron came out, we all knew this is a problematic card. And we've been theory crafting around Baron for 2-3 years in a row. It's no surprise to see this card getting banned at any point. It just, we're not used to how Konami actually doing it. So that's the thing. Summon Limit, I guess, in the combination with Anti-Spell, I was expecting both of them getting limited, as we had IO Imperial Order for a while as one, right? But they just straight gutted Summon Limit and limited Anti-Spell, which I'm perfectly fine. And Link Creeble, as mainly the fire hit, was not, how should I say it? I heard a lot of people saying this. I was kind of surprised this ended to be like the only real hit to the deck. Baron the Savage, yes, you cannot play the synchro version, but you've been watching my channel, I was not playing those, so those are not mattering much to me. Link Creeble, on the other hand, is a bigger hit than you think, not just because there isn't the attack blocking, or the graveyard fire eating a level 1 as a cost to dodge like negates. It also kind of limited or banned Hiso indirectly, because Hiso required 2 plus Cybers with different attribute. Without Link Creeble, the only easy way to summon it is Sunlight plus IP, which is not ideal, suddenly turning Hiso into a Link 4 instead of Link 3. And without that, I don't think the Sunlight Hiso, well, Sunlight may still have usage in the Fire King variants. Hiso is like more a weird card to play now. And I've been playing Hiso for 2-3 weeks now, and I like the card a lot. To be honest, I like the card a lot since Rescue Ace time. And that card has won me so many games in the mirror match because other people were not doing that. And he's still drawing one hand trap is most likely winning. Drawing 2 hand trap is like winning on the spot. And now that is also gone. That's like a big change to what I've been playing, to be honest. But besides that, yeah, there's no other fire card hit in the entire ban list. I don't really have to walk through the whole list at this point. Everyone know what's on there. The entire Fire Mink deck is still the same and it's still operating. But I don't know how I'm going to change moving forward based on that. And then addressing, I guess, the limit section on the right. Protoss, Colossus, Curing, 3 cards that were very scary, that has done scary things in the past. It's about time they're coming out. But I don't think they're going to be doing anything really mattering. OCG had Colossus and Protoss for years now that were not addressed. And Thunder and Sword Soul has not really utilizing them at all, has not been doing well with them at all in OCG format. So I don't think now having these and also some of the unlimits like Harp will really changing any of those decks' position in the format. And Curing, on the other hand, is like a scary thing because even OCG didn't have it, but us here don't have Electromite, so there isn't any good pen deck that can utilize Curing that can come into my mind. So despite Curing, yeah, it's annoying to see the card, but I can't really see any decks running it. Yeah, so because pen decks is really kind of gone in the format. Then chicken game is whatever. Like, are you even playing Upstart? No, then adding a chicken game doesn't change anything. Tidal is also like, okay, a lot of all the Dragon Lord can come back. And let me see, the Semi and Unlim section. Semi Delicious Memory is scary, but I think Purity is probably just gonna be the same. Not that big of changes. Unlim has Mali, Harp, Terratop, and Engage. Some interesting changes. Mali, it's another round of Mali coming out, and because its soda is gone, the only that can utilize 3 Mali with the addition of Denier now is what? Heroes or Tier. None of the decks are really doing good. Remember, we lost Savage and Baron. So every deck now has no protection against Nibiru. They essentially added a lot of like ending board monster, things like Colossus, things like Kirin, things like Protoss, making the combo a little bit longer. However, while making it longer and stronger at the end, it's a lot more fragile on the way there. It's like, yes, now if things resolving, you are extra dead. Instead of before, you might even have a chance to break it. But now, it's a lot easier to interrupt it. Instead of calling Sorcerer a Protoss Turbo deck, which sounds scary, you can also call it no Nib, protection, no Baron, one pile. Which suddenly, it sounds a lot easier to deal with it, right? So yeah, that's pretty much how the BANLIST. All the hits, all the releases, I'm a fan of it. I think everything is on the right path. It's about time we decluster the BANLIST. And because power crapping is so heavy, a lot of these cards can come back and probably either won't have definitive impact to the format, or they just have their moment, their spots taking a small portion, making the deck at least more playable than before. So after finishing the good things, let's talk about the bad things about the BANLIST, right? There are still some. I don't like the fact they still missing few other cards. Be more specific, I think there need to be some hits to stun. I guess the last floodgate that we haven't really addressed was Skildrin, which should also go to 1 with the other ones, because that's really the last floodgate that Runic Stun Guy's been playing. They should at least have some hits, right? And I'm kind of surprised to not see Snake Eye Ash anywhere. Like, I think Ash is probably it's the cheapest one. It's also the best one in the whole deck. The whole Diablo engine is too expensive. So it's like Poplar or Princess. Ash should just be a random super. Can take a limit and will be still fine. There's still bonfires. Like no one's even playing 3 Poplar at the moment. So yeah, everyone like 1 Ash is justified, but they didn't do it, so it's all right. What other thing? I wanted some branded hits. The Puppet Lock is still kind of problematic thing. My preferred choice is limiting branded fusion. Simple fact. Now branded will still be fine, function okay, but it will lower their consistency and lower their chance to pull out the Puppet Lock, which indirectly, like I said, everyone's making Konami's dragging the combo longer, but making it more fragile in the middle, which is fitting their direction of doing this. However, limiting branded fusion will also preventing other decks running branded. It will kill the branded voiceless variant, which is fine. Like, I'm not having too big an issue with branded. I'm just feeling really tired to see branded rolling around since 2022 until even now. It's been 2 whole years. Seeing branded fusion being like a too strong card sometimes in the format. So those are the minor bad thing about the list for what, in my opinion, what's missing. What's the major worst thing about the BANLIST? Okay, so this list was announced midday during Saturday while I was at the regional. After I finished a round while my friend walked to me, so it's very exciting and saying, "Oh, BANLIST out." right? Not surprised. They had the whole March. They could have the whole March to this. They could announce this now and get applied after Raleigh, which is still fine, right? We all been preparing for YCS Raleigh for quite a bit. Honestly, because of the lack of tournament, I was preparing Raleigh since the end of mid-end of March until now, since nothing's changing. However, I was told this BANLIST effective immediately on Monday before Raleigh. Let's have some other story time. During early 2022, I think either April or May, we had a YCS Hartford. A good amount of people were piloting their decks to their favorite decks to that YCS due to the fact it's one of the biggest YCS. Well, it's one of the first YCS post-COVID. A lot of people were doing things with Zoroark. A lot of people were fusing with Anaconda. A lot of people were also playing their Prankit pile. Konami got it, all those three, a week prior to the YCS, which resulted the whole format being pure chaos. And I don't know about others, but me personally hated move like this. Konami need to give us some leeway time prior to a major event, so the player experience is like not very last minute, right? Like preparing events last minute, in my opinion, is a choice by everyone. You can be well prepared, starting preparing like as far as a month ago, which I do. You can also be like, either you don't want to or you're not able to. You kind of have to prepare at last minute, which, yeah, it's fair. But Konami doing that BANLIST like this, releasing it last minute, forcing everyone to prepare the event last minute, is not acceptable. It's not a fun game player experience. Like, I'm putting, let me say it this way. List was dropped Saturday, right? And get effective on Monday. The Decklist deadline for YCS Raleigh is Friday morning, which is technically less than 6 days away from the announcement of the BANLIST that will be effective. It's really not fun. And even in addition to it, like because the European, I think the Euro Konami announced this, they even have a note on their announcement saying, oh yeah, because there's the French Open, so the list will be effective later for the EU section. Fantastic communication. But now it's leaving North America looking like a joke. Like, okay, Euro can do this compromising. What about America? Are we just like, why do we have to play to be the test experiments for everywhere, right? This just, I really hated it. I was like, they could be announcing the last Saturday, get it effective after Raleigh, be fine, completely fine. So we still prepare the Raleigh the same way as we had been for the past whole month. And they could also just delay. I'm even okay. They delay the announcement even until the day of Raleigh or post Raleigh, all fine. Or they could just announce this whole list way earlier. We had a whole March. They could announce that late March, everyone be fine. They have a whole month to prepare for Raleigh with a new format. Perfectly okay. But no, Konami North America choose the worst time to release the list, get it applied less than 6 days away from what Decklist is due. I hated it. And I posted on my social media right after I see the list, right after I see the effective date. And I think this needs to be changed. Some other people arguing, yeah, it's more fun with a new format. But remember, North America been having formats, or been having events at the beginning of formats for a while. This entire, since like I guess last year Worlds, especially during beginning of the AGOT format, we have YCS Indy and Richmond. Both are at the beginning of a format. Then moving to YCS Las Vegas was also beginning of a format, right? And now Raleigh, we're like, finally, this is gonna be at the end of format where data's being collected, experience being tested, play, and so maybe we can pull out some different things. Nope, go back to the beginning of format. If the sets isn't coming, resulting in new format, the ban list is. Which I don't know. I really hope it can change up a little bit, because I personally, as a player, benefiting more from tournaments at the end of format where all the datas are collected or the testing's being done so I can counter against people. And however, all the end format YCs are either like Euro, or technically Euro doesn't even have any YCs anymore, or just South Americans that some of them I can't even go to. And North America is being stuck with early format YCS, and kind of gets frustrated every single time. In combination with this last minute change due to the balance. So yeah, you heard me complaining about it. I just to short summarize it, I like everything that changes on the list. I just really hated how the way they announced the list and when it's being applied so close to OICS. So, that being said, here's this week's episode. I know it's more a little bit, it's less theory crafting, less analyzing, more just me complaining. But I'm glad you've watched until at this point with me. And at this point, I've absolutely no idea what I would do for YCS Raleigh. Raleigh looks to be very chaotic. May have to go back to Fire King. May have to force myself playing Fire King despite I still don't like it. We'll see. I will try my best to come up with something for Raleigh, and I hope it can work out. So, that being said, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then I think this will be the last update before Raleigh, and next episode, hopefully, will just be a post-Raleigh summarize or report. With that being said, I will see everyone in the next one. Goodbye.